So we got a 2006 Yamaha Raptor 700. Pretty good deal. Drove about 4 hours and some change to pick this one up. It's about probably close to a 9-hour trip. So this one, apparently the guy was saying that it blew up and he pretty much rebuilt it, and it's pretty much on a fresh rebuild. So you can see it's got brand new gaskets. Decently new chain. Tires are pretty bald. They're also flat. Front tires are somewhat decent. Let's see, it's got a Tusk rear grab bar. Yoshimura exhaust. It's got a little skid plate for the swing arm. And it's a full exhaust as well. And it's actually full carbon fiber. Plastics on it. As you can see, it's all carbon fiber. So is all the plastics up here. It's also got the Tusk gas cap. Not sure what brand front grab bar that is, or front bumper. It's also got skid plates for the control arms. Pretty nice quad. It did run whenever I went to go see it. Took it for a ride. The nerf bars are really wobbly on it. I think it's missing a few bolts. Yeah, up here, it's missing that bolt. Pretty much just comes out. Yeah, I think you might just put through bolts on the other side so it doesn't fall off. But this one, when I was riding it, the air screw adjuster fell out, which is right here where this hole is, and it started idling super high, and I was like, what the heck? I guess the vibration kind of wiggled it out. So I need one of those. Also, he put just a regular nut for here. Didn't even smash the washer around it to kind of lock it in place. But it's pretty tight. I'll probably end up doing that. Sprockets look decent. Not too bad. They're not super pointy or anything. So let me just, pretty sure the battery's missing. The guy didn't have a battery and I pretty much jumped it. But there's where the battery's supposed to be located. Now it's got a semi-new air filter. It's not too dirty. Looks pretty rolled up. It's missing the airbox cover. Let's see. I actually had to rob the spark plug from my other 700 that I had. And the other one was like sparking intermittently. Did not want to run good, didn't want to start. So I robbed that one off of this one. Now I'm onto this quad. And I do have a new spark plug for that as well. Our reverse switch isn't broken. That's pretty notorious for these Got the key. Brakes work. Also a lot of play in the steering. It could be the bushing up here. There's like a little bushing that kind of holds it in place and keeps it tight. So could replace that. No leaks on it. Oil's pretty fresh. He said it's fresh rebuild, so he said all he really did was put heat cycles on it. So it's not a tuner for the exhaust. It's got a full exhaust, so it probably does need a tune, but it does run. But it does not have a tune programmer, fuel programmer. But just to check the oil again. You can see it's pretty clean. So that checks out. It's not milky or anything. A fresh rebuild, you know. He looks like he built it up right. He showed me pictures of it whenever he was rebuilding it, and I guess the top end kind of locked up on him. So yeah, let me stick a battery on this thing and then get that air screw in, see what happens. Battery is in. Let's see if I can get any lights. I'm not getting anything. We check the connections for the ignition real fast. Okay, so doing a little bit of diagnosing. This thing was really like ticking me off a little bit, because when I got the quad, this thing turned the key, lights on and everything. Heard the fuel pump, hit the starter button, and it cranked over. But for some reason, when you want to mess with it, and something always goes wrong. It's been sitting pretty much for a little while, and I didn't do anything, and it just wants to act up. Didn't want to start at all. No fuel pump, no nothing. Checking the fuses, all the fuses were good. Battery was holding about 12.5 volts. The connections were good, everything was good. I did notice this switch here, safety switch, it's supposed to go here for the clutch, but I believe it was bypassed somehow. It does also have a new purge, so, and that wasn't an issue before. The only thing that really was an issue was the key. Turning the key, it seemed like it wasn't really hitting the connections all the way right. But when you turn it now, for this key, I don't know why it's aftermarket, if it's new or not, but you can't really turn it all the way, or else it'll kind of miss that connection of it being on. So if you go too far, it won't turn on, but if you go all the way to on, a little bit back, you'll hit that point. And now it cranks over. But if you turn it all the way, nothing. Turn it a little bit, you hear the fuel pump, and then super weird. I also still can't really get neutral light on. I don't know what's up there. The dude is saying sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and stick my new spark plug in, and then get that air screw in. It's like an NGK spark plug wire. I'll take this off and see if we're getting good wire exposed. Should thread right in though. Yep. All right. Like I said, I'm gonna take this off. I don't know if you can see that. We got barely any wire exposed. Pretty much nothing, barely. You can see that one little baby wire. I'm gonna cut it back a little bit and get some wire exposed here. Now we got some wire exposed. A good trick, you can put some WD-40, a little bit, just to help it go on smoother. Just like that. What I also did was I cleaned the points inside of the switch here. They were dirty, so it did kind of need that, but I also really didn't need it because it worked either way. It's just that key being super weird and finicky and touchy, and you know, all the bad stuff. Really gotta mess with it. But yeah, next let me get that air screw in. I kind of bought like a parts wiring harness, and it came with like a throttle body and stuff. And that was like what, like 20 bucks. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace instead of buying like a aftermarket kind of screw. So I got all that stuff for 20 bucks. Pretty good deal with throttle body and stuff like that. So let me get that screw in. Try to give this thing a first start in a little while. You know, it's got a fresh rebuild, so it should run pretty good. It shouldn't really smoke unless there's still, you know, kind of oil residue in the exhaust. That's the only kind of reason why I would think that it'll smoke if he rebuilt it right. You know, he showed me paperwork and everything else, showed me pictures of him rebuilding it. Who really knows? But we're about to find out. So this is pretty much the bundle I got off of Facebook Marketplace for a 700. I believe it came off an 06 model. So like I said, it came with the whole wiring harness. Actually came with a new air filter cover, so I don't need to buy those. Came with a used water pump, some connections, oil lines, gas cap. You know, it's got an ECU, rectifier, kill switch, and everything else. The whole throttle body and intake system. Pretty much everything that connects to the wiring harness. You know, you got the main fuses, everything here. So, you know, I've got a good amount of parts here that, you know, I could use later on down the road. Just like this bike. Get the fuel rail. Did not come with injector though, so that kind of sucks. But what I was needing is this. This is what fell out. I'm gonna count how many turns out this one is. Pretty much put it the same amount of turns out on this quad, because I'm assuming this was like, I don't know, stock. Pretty much stock setup, I want to say. But you know, let's see what happens. I think I got a really good deal out of this. You know, all this stuff right here, you go on eBay, you can part this out for like a couple $100 or more. I got it all for like 40 bucks. Pretty good deal if you ask me. So yeah, let me go and get this out, count how many turns it is out, you know, take it all out and put it back in. All right, got the inside of the airbox pretty much cleaned up. Not so much the outside, but the inside's all clean. I'm just gonna pop it on real quick. can go. And then air screw is in. As you can tell, boom right there. We'll see how it runs. But like I said, it probably doesn't need that tune. With the full exhaust and everything else is stock. It probably definitely does need a tune. What I'm gonna do is take off this cover here and get to the radiator cap. Alright, so we found another problem. The starter pretty much went, I'm pretty sure. I'm getting 12 volts to the solenoid. Hit the starter button, 12 volts to the other side of the starter solenoid. And I checked the connection on the starter. That's also getting 12 volts. And then when I tap it, it wants to turn over, but it's not turning over completely. And it only wants to when I tap it. So it's a good indication that the starter is going out, or most likely is bad. As you could tell on that last crank, it was pretty weak sounding, and I got 12 volts pretty much everywhere up to the starter. And I was turning the crank by hand. Crank was turning smoothly, so looks like I got a starter issue here. Looks like I'm about to order up a new starter. So that's always something with these things, man. Kind of what comes into it. So I'm gonna order up a new starter. That's pretty much all it really needs. Diagnosing wise, you know. So far, that's really it. I mean, I heard it crank over, it ran, didn't smoke. Coolant and oil are good. No, everything else is pretty good on it. You know, I do get the lights pop up, so it's just that freaking starter, man. See, it wants to, but it's not turning fast enough to really crank it over. So starter is bad, so I'm gonna order up a new starter after that, we should be good to go. Take it for a test drive, and we should be good with this one. Give it a good wash and take it for a spin. After the spin, we'll check the spark plug. You know, it did kind of idle higher a little bit, so hopefully we're kind of good there. Hopefully no check engine light comes on. If it does, we're gonna have to address that somehow, lower the idle or something. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. Order up parts, and we're good. All right, so I got the starter out of the quad. Let me show y'all. So with all the diagnosing I was doing, I was pretty confident it was a starter, because I was getting, 12 volts to the connection here itself, and I was crossing the solenoid too, and it just wasn't doing anything at all. So let me just show y'all when I hook up the power straight to the starter. I grounded the body, and I'm just gonna, well, if I connect this. It's not getting anything. But when I hit it, so starter's bad. There's not even a lot of torque whenever it does start turning over, so I'm gonna order up a new one. This does look pretty wearing through. Yeah, go ahead and order it up. I should get it towards the end of this coming up week, so should have parts in. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. We diagnosed it. It did end up starting. Battery was good, getting 12 volts, and ended up just being the starter. And then the ignition, obviously, is pretty tweaked. You gotta get in the right spot for it to be on the on position. But it did start. It ran, no smoke. Hopefully everything else is good. The idle situation probably needs to be tuned, to be honest. Full exhaust with stock fuel mapping, that'll do it. So once we get the starter in, we'll do more testing. And yeah, man, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like. I got more videos coming. But yeah, y'all just stay tuned.